saying already from the remote start that the head unit did not come on. So now we can see the boot time using the key. Alright, ready? Go. So let's see, it takes a little bit. Not as fast as the scene, not slow by any means. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is go over the head unit itself. Not the Android Auto features, but just the head unit functionality. Obviously, we have a radio. Radio seems fine. I don't really use the radio, so I don't really know. I never listen to the regular radio. So one annoying thing is that you can't really stop the radio. It's just on, essentially. So if you go to the home, it's on. I have it muted. There's no like stopping. Like if I hit the button again, it doesn't go off or anything. It's just there until you change sources. So if I hit, so let me unmute it. And if I hit Sirius, it's not an option. None of these are options, right? So I'm recording this on my Note 9, which is probably what is tied to this currently. Here's my USB port I use for the head unit. So this top one I've used for Android Auto, and the bottom one I plugged into power. I have a video on that separately. As far as the head unit itself, SiriusXM is grayed out because I'm not using it. I don't have the module hooked up. The radio is on, of course, because it's lit up because it's available. The USB is not plugged in. There's no phone plugged in, you can see here. iPod is not connected. I tried an old iPod video and it didn't work, so I guess you have to have a newer iPod, but I would never use that. And that's annoying things. You can't get rid of these features here. You can't. This is just there. You can't remove them. Connectivity, that will show CarPlay or Android Auto when you plug something in, which I'll do in just a second. Again, SiriusXM is off because it's not connected. I didn't buy that extra module. Bluetooth audio is on because it's tied to my Note 9 currently, which I'm recording this on. Camera is neat. You can just hit camera at any time and you'll see the camera. Even if you're driving, you can do that. Setup is lit up now, but there's only a handful of options because my parking brake is not set. That's also annoying. So you can see all you have option for is sound and connectivity. So I can turn CarPlay off. You can turn the guidance down, which is good, because sometimes the CarPlay or the Android Auto volume, the Google Assistant, can be loud. See, all these are grayed out. Sound is where you go through your standard EQ stuff. So you have fade and balance. You can move the audio over, and then you have this button here, of course, to hit it, or you can go one at a time. And then you can go right to the center, which is good. Then you have just the basic bass and treble. So you can see this is on 4 negatives. So you can just move them around one by one if you want. You can make them flat. And then you have this EQ button where you can just kind of pick one. And I went to rock, and that changes it, where it is. So it's not a lot of them. You can tell the difference when you play them, but for me this is good because I don't know how to do all the fancies, right? There is an option. I don't know why it's not lit up right now, but there's an advanced option for it. Subwoofer. I don't have a subwoofer connected right now, so it's not doing it. So this useless to me at this point. Alright, so that's all the settings. We don't have anything else plugged in. What I'm going to do right now is plug in a USB drive. There should be some music on here. And so I'm going to see how this little plug guy works. As soon as I plug them in, it should turn red, and then it starts reading the USB right away. So this is the Eminem album I bought from Eminem's website when it first came out. So there should be album art on there, but it's not showing. But yeah, this mode does nothing. There's this, whatever this all button is, I guess repeat all. There's a shuffle button, and there's a go back 10 seconds, I guess. I don't know, let's see. I don't know what that doesn't. Oh, that skips 10 seconds. Oh, that's the I see, that's where it plays like 10 seconds of a song and then skips, so you can kind of find your shuffle. So you can see on this drive I put 2 MP3s. There should be more, so let's go. Yeah, there we go. So there's alright, so I put a video on there. Obviously it's not showing, so this thing's not capable of playing video, I guess. Here's an album I bought from Amazon a long time ago. Oh, it does show album. Okay, so alright, so our album artwork is capable. I guess that one just didn't work right. So this is an album I bought from Amazon a long time ago. So you can see, so it does have artwork, so that's pretty good. Alright, so that's good. And you can see here is the EQ. If I touch this, it doesn't do anything. If I hit mode, it doesn't do anything. And then if you want to change albums, of course, change songs, it does. So it does have album artwork, so that's pretty good. That was incorrect, my previous assessment. Alright, so now that we have music in there, let's try to go to setup and sound and advanced. It's still not available. Let me try. That was me cranking my emergency brake up. So now you can see USB's lit up because the USB is plugged in. Connectivity is still off. Let's try setup. Again, these are still not. So I have really got this thing cranked up. We're gonna try it again. There we go. You gotta pull it to about break it, right? Alright, so now we have a lot more options lit up on the setup options. So let's look at sound. Now advanced pops up. So here you still got your fade, of course, and then you have crossover, parametric EQ, TCR, time control, I would assume, MX, I don't know what that is, defeat. So these are all complicated controls, or more complicated from my knowledge. I need those basically pre-set ones. But, I mean, these are here if you want them, which is good. And if you want to go back to simple, you see the simple, and it will give you back your standard EQ settings here, right? Volume, so you can change your ring volume when the calls come in case it's, your phone's ringing, blowing you out, or the microphone or caller volume. So those are good for the phone. Key sound feedback, you can change it. I don't know what second means. Oh, I guess it's the, I don't know what it is. Alright, system. So I can turn the clock or your display off or on. I guess I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. If you want to change your time, you hit here just to change your time manually. Dimmer, if it's on auto. So this is not like other head units where it's like tied to your headlights. It has like some kind of dimmer in here that kind of does the work for you. It works okay. You can manually adjust it if you don't like the auto version. You want to change the language, of course, you can go there. If you want to do a full factory reset, there. I don't know what this does. So yeah, I don't know. It was yeah, I don't know what that does. Alright, system we already checked out. Connectivity, again, that's where you can just turn off CarPlay if you wanted to for some reason. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. SiriusXM still grayed out because I don't have that option there, right? Bluetooth. So you can see the devices that I've connected, and you can delete them if I don't want to use them anymore. Like say I don't want to use my Pixel 3a and 3a XL here anymore. I can just delete it. Yes. All right, like right now my Note 9 is there, so let's disconnect the Note 9. All right, so now my Note 9 is disconnected. My Revelry is here in my hand, so let's just see what that does. Oh, so now it's going to connect it automatically. So now it's connected my T-Mobile Revelry Plus. That just tells you, oh, I guess that's the Bluetooth address of this head unit. So if I need to search for it, if we want to search for other devices, that makes sense. Camera settings. So you can change it to a different camera if you had multiple. I only have one hooked up. So page 2, picture quality, I can adjust. If you want to adjust the brightness, color, and all that stuff, I don't really mess with it. It seems alright looking to me. And you can, so this is good. I can adjust these because they seem a little high, maybe. Is that what it is? Oh, I see. Well, oh, there we go. So, not a lot of adjustments, I guess. A little bit. It seems alright to me. I'm just going to leave it where it was. It works good enough for my usings. And then information, it's just your firmware. I have a video about how to update the firmware if you're interested in doing that. And that's all the settings, really. And you can't really change anything. On the face of the unit, you have a volumes down and up here, a mute button. This button take you back to home, or I guess your last thing that was playing. And then this button is the voice guidance button, so if it's tied to Bluetooth or to Android Auto. You hit that button, it will bring up Android Auto or Google Assistant, and the phone button will take you to the phone screen, right? But Bluetooth audio, we can do that. Let me pick a song for Bluetooth. So now we're connected, and the Revelry is connected. I'm gonna go home. Let's go to Bluetooth audio, and there we go. So now I have the Bash Brothers playing on my phone, and we're gonna play it here. Yeah, so it's playing. You do have to make the volume of Bluetooth much louder than Android Auto, but you can, of course, expect that. You can adjust that, I guess, in those volume settings somewhere. But I do think the Bluetooth screen looks pretty cool, so that's one benefit of that. Of course, I don't use hardly any of these features. All I really use it for is Android Auto. I'm going to take out the USB, and I'm going to plug in my cord for Android Auto. I'm going to make a separate full video on Android Auto on this head unit. So we got them plugged in. And now, when we go home, the Android Auto button should be lit up. And then you can see, if I click on that, that's the old school version of, I haven't got the update yet for Android Auto. So, this is just the way things would normally work. Just the way it's always looked. Of course, you can hit this button to go back to the Alpine settings. Overall, the unit's pretty good. I find this screen to be a little dull compared to my previous Sony. It's also like $100 cheaper, so you don't got much to complain about there, I guess. I mean, it's functional, it's just fine. You wouldn't notice it, especially in this Jeep. If you had the previous 430N head unit, this is going to look 1,000 times better. But compared to my previous Android head unit or my previous Sony head unit, the screen's a little dim, a little dull for my taste. Personally, I'm having a hard time getting used to the 7-inch screen. I'll probably get that Pioneer with 8-inch screen or go back to one of my beloved Android head units. But that's a different. But as far as if you just want a regular double DIN 7-inch screen, this is one of the cheaper ones you can get, and it works pretty solid. I had a lot of problems with Android Auto on the Sony, and this one worked okay. I still had some issues, and then I did this little mount, which I'll have a link to. And since then, I've had zero problems with Android Auto. It's worked perfectly fine on this head unit. The steering wheel controls work just fine, assuming your vehicle can do that. I used the pack module, which I had Crutchfield pre-wired for me, which was pretty great. I will say these buttons here are not as nice as they were on the Sony. On the Sony, there was like a little nub, and the buttons were physically out, so you could touch them. And that helped you from pressing the button wrong accidentally, or it helps you know what you were touching, like kind of blindly. Here, they're all just flat. It's just a smooth, flat surface there. So that part is kind of annoying. I mean, you kind of have to look to see what you're doing. So I would just always use steering wheel controls. But the problem is the screen is that, you know, with these 7-inch head units, it's so small and my hands are big. I'm a big dude. Sometimes I go to touch something like the camera and I'll hit this button. So like, I mean to touch the camera and all of a sudden I'm getting an Android. We'll see, like if I hit this now, it'll take me to like a Google listening. Google, tell me a joke.
Why does a duck have tail feathers? To cover its butt quack.
That was horrible. All these people are bad at jokes. Yeah, so if I do the phone, there you go. So you can see, like, make key. If you want to actually dial it, if you want to go to your contacts, I'm not going to show you. You want to go to your recents, I'm not going to show. But again, I would never use this interface. Pretty much the only reason I would ever use this head unit for is obviously Android Auto. So I mean, I just thought I would show the functionality of the head unit beyond that in case you wanted it for something else. But personally, I always use Android Auto, so there's not much use for any of these other features. But they're there. So yeah, my major complaints would be this stuff is too easy to touch because it's not separated, like it's part of the screen, right? It's smooth glass the whole way, so there's no, you can hit these buttons real easy. It's not like a nub or ledge or anything to delineate that. I do think this is stupid, but I do think that this little bar is good because you can easily tell where your volume is and where you want it to go. I like that it has the EQ sitting right here. I like that it shows my phone battery. Even on Bluetooth, it's still showing it. It's telling me I'm on Bluetooth. And if I had it on LTE, it would show me my LTE signal there. So there's a lot of cool features there. Again, I do wish you could kind of adjust this. I mean, this is just a screen. You can't move any of these things. You can't change the background or any of that stuff. That's just how it is. Alright, so that's probably good enough. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. I'm going to make a separate video for Android Auto and CarPlay, so be checking those out too. I have an unboxing install up and a firmware update video as well. Alright, thanks for checking me out. Alright, so I figured out what this does now. If you hit System and you go to the clock off display, so now it's on. If I hold this, the display goes off and you can just see the time. If I turn this off, and I hold this down, then the display just goes off in general. And you can see how many fingerprints it has. So another thing you can do is just hit this button and it will bounce back and forth between them, right? Every time I tap it, it switches me from the home interface to the Android Auto interface. And this is the newer version of Android Auto. After I recorded that, this one popped up, so that's pretty cool. Alright, thanks for checking me out.